Pardon the jitters, I have tremors. I cannot do anything about that. Well, I did it again. I've wanted the Galaga cabinet for a while. I just wanted the free cash to be enough to purchase it outright. And that finally happened, so I got myself the Arcade1up Galaga cabinet that will go alongside, well, sort of go alongside the Atari 12-in-1. So of the Series 1s, this one and the 12-in-1 that I have are the only two that I'm really interested in. In my tiny apartment, if I sacrifice space, I can get up to 4 of these things in here, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of moving stuff around if that had to be a thing. But okay, this is the Walmart exclusive Galaga cabinet. I always like to play Galaga when it was in the arcades. Anyway, cheaper model, 2 games, Galaga and Galaxian. By the way, Galaxian is, I believe, to be the very first color arcade game, 1979. Galaga is the sequel, but far more successful. And also notice there's no tape on this, although honestly I believe it should have been taped up because the glue did not hold, and because it's Walmart, the box is beat up quite a bit. There's a sizable ding there. These things almost never come perfect. It's a well-known thing, so same old, same old. I'm not going to bother reading the instructions this time. And I'm hoping that this time things will go a lot better. It took 2 hours to put the Atari 12-in-1 together because most of the screws didn't line up at all. 4 didn't go in at all. Next day I took it apart, just the parts that needed to be tweaked, adjusted the cams, everything went together. And they say you only need a Phillips. You should have a flat head on hand because if the cams need any adjustment, it requires a flat head. So without further ado, again, pardon the mess. This was, once again, impromptu. I try to keep it decent enough for presentation purposes, but no guarantees there. Okay, let's move a little this way. Okay, that's nice and tight, and suddenly I am... Okay. Alright. Suddenly things change that shouldn't. Alright. Not too far up. And that's too far zoomed in. Good enough for government work. And the battery isn't very good. It's only at 36%. So I'm going to attach this guy. Hopefully she'll stay put. This time the phone is in very secure, so it shouldn't be a problem. There we go. Aim a little more this way and back the camera off just a little bit. Oh, Galaga? Yeah, I've played it in MAME, but yeah, personally I don't think I've seen one of those in a while. So again, because of I call it a 2/3 scale and 3/4 scale cabinet because the width and depth are roughly 3/4 the width of an actual arcade cabinet, but due to restrictions on how big an item can be stored in a typical store layout, they had to sacrifice height. They had to keep it under 4 feet because a box cannot exceed 4 feet unless it's furniture. So that's... Plus, if you made it truly 3/4 height, it wouldn't be comfortable standing or sitting to play. It's comfortable sitting. I'm not going to use the riser on the 12-in-1 because I found you'd have to drill holes to keep the arcade machine from tipping over, and I don't want to damage the artwork. So let's start. And this time, like I said, I've done it before. I can probably go without the instructions this time, and hopefully everything will line up. I already cut the seals. Oh, the glue actually did hold. They learned their lesson from the 12-in-1. They have a different, I guess they're using a, oh, they got tape on this end. Apparently it didn't hold too well here. There we go. I don't know if you can see it. 1, 2, 3. Those are the only places the glue held, and barely any of it either. What I want to do with the instruction manual and the reference book with the 12-in-1 is put it inside the cabinet, which is what I'm going to do with these. Now, the one thing I don't like in this instruction manual is, I'm going to get to the inventory part here. Right here. You got the screws, B and D. That should be uppercase lettering, because if you saw me put the 12-in-1 together, I was wondering why the marquee screws wouldn't go in, because I was putting B screws in and not the D screws, and when you're reading upside down and trying to move fast, those two letters look too much alike, and I'm not even dyslexic, so that's the one gripe I have of the assembly instructions. Other than that, it's great. Of course, they tell you what goes together. If you want to see in detail the how it's put together, step by step, check out the live unboxing, assembly, and playtesting of the Atari 12-in-1. Okay, the only thing I'm going to use as a reference is they want to use the left panel for putting everything together. We'll keep that right there. This was much easier to get up the stairs because we didn't have the bulky riser. Box bow gubbins. Let's see what we got in here. Probably was not the smartest thing to do, but I never said it was smart. Now I'm doubting that this is going to come 100% perfect. I'm sure the sides of the cabinets are going to be dinged up. Okay, we got our bag of stuff. We'll go through that in a moment. This is our small, this is the small boards, and some of these screws look a little crooked, so there's some side supports. Let's put them right here for now, because we're going to need those right away. They don't want you getting any of this stuff out, really. There's the lanyard board, and it is intended for these to be installed with the letters facing inside the cabinet. These support boards, you can get away with either direction. Galaga. And for those of you that live in Leominster, it's also a former junior high school. G-board, I think this is the one that slides in. H board. You know what the funny thing is with these H boards, the tops? Every Arcade1up cabinet I've seen from other people, this is nice and centered. None of mine have been. Granted, this is on my second. The Atari one was over here. This one's still sloppily off to the left, but a little more on center. I think that goes before that board. This lightweight one is the control deck. Now they list the A button so you would know which, oh, this is really well, that was well done. But, you know, there's supposed to be a cover that covers that, so shouldn't be able to see that. I wonder why they bother putting an A on it. It's almost a two-directional. Nice and clicky. Kind of almost looks like the Galaga, actual Galaga controller there. All right, where should I put this guy? How about over here for now? I'm just going to jam that into the... It's not a... It is not perfect. And I'm not gonna... Yeah, very minor scratches here. You're not gonna... I could put it up to the camera. They're so minor you're not gonna see them. It's not worth doing. And of course, the REoL company box. Made by REoL. That dipped in like I didn't really want it to. Here's the arcade bottom. We'll have that front and center. All right, the I board. This one gives a lot of people trouble. In this case, this one has... I can't do anything about that streaking. The camera, you know, the protective glass layer is so worn out. I've cleaned it multiple times and that's the best I can get. All right, that should be somewhere near the end. There. I want to seat all of it. And hoping there's not a bunch of crap under the plexiglass again, but there's the screen. I know the detail isn't really all too visible, but and I'm just gonna peel a little bit off. Not gonna go hog wild with it. I don't know why they just did it that way, but don't really need to do the top ones. Alright, at some point we'll be needing this, obviously. Alright. Peel the bottom because that gets in the way of everything. Here we go. There. Now to move stuff around a little bit. Oh yeah, actually we still have one more. There we go. The backboard. I think we could put that over here. Won't be needed for a while. Alright, the left one. This is the left side, which is one they call for when you start putting stuff together. This doesn't want to come out. There she goes. Consider your if you purchase an arcade cabinet, you're around $1,200 to $3,000, and they were $3,000 brand new in its day, and you're paying $300. So you're obviously getting sacrifices like here, and you probably can't see it, but there's a little bit of scratching right there. Very insignificant. A little mark right there. Yeah, these rarely come perfect, especially the way Walmart handles these things. Not very gracefully. So this is a common thing. So you're giving one of these to somebody for Christmas or a holiday, maybe a birthday gift from someone unlucky enough to have a birthday near Christmas, don't expect perfection with these things. Oh, this one definitely ain't having it. There it is. Gonna wait for the trash to be picked up and then break the box down on that guy. Alright, let's see how this one looks. Yeah, this one's scratched up a bit too. There. I mean, the Galaga artwork is fine. A little dinging on the bottom, just like the Asteroids one. That's okay. Alright. And I think we're ready to start. No, we're not. Of course, everything has to tangle in itself. The power brick. The cable that attaches to the monitor, which goes out the back panel. This is different for this cabinet because it has a joystick. It has the sort of a gasket, and of course the ball itself. I've heard, like the Street Fighter ones, these tend to come off as you're using it. But I've also heard if you hold the stick tight while you're tightening this, it usually doesn't come off. Yeah, the joystick rotates. So you gotta... Our bag of dowels. Put these over here. A bag of dowels. Alright. The dowels. B screws, C screws, D screws, and the E ones. There's 2 E screws. I wonder what those are for. I'll just reference it here. Here we know how all that goes. D slot. E. Okay, I'm trying to see where those E ones come in. Oh, the 2 E screws. Oh, this one's slightly different. There's no third screw hole for the bottom cabinet there. Yeah, on the 12-in one, there was a third screw. That's what the E's were throwing me off. Because bag of 3 screws, I would have figured that one out. All right. I know you guys have been commenting. We'll take a look a little later. Spare parts. And the monitor brackets. harnessing hardware we don't need. I didn't throw any of the stuff we didn't need or use away. The dowels are ready. We'll leave those alone. These screws are pretty much ready to go. Alrighty. Before we start, and hopefully it'll take less than 2 hours, let's see what people are saying, because I've seen stuff going across here. Never seen. Hello, Steve. Yeah, this is the second one, and there's no third one in sight for a while. And -1, thanks again. Congratulations. Should be getting Pac-Man soon. Hope it goes well. And I'm hoping this will take less than 2 hours. Because like I said, the only reason, nothing lined up. Alright, so I know from the previous one, step 1, slap in the 4 dowels. Oops. Yeah, just because they don't show you. See these screws right here? Those are the cams. You need a flathead if the screws aren't going in. Alright, now they're saying they want the left side of the cabinet while installing, so that's how we're going to do it again. Yeah, it was better off that it came out like that. A couple of bees, hopefully they will cooperate. A little slippage on that one, but I wasn't putting a lot of force on it. Well, right now I'm just purposely going to leave them slightly loose till they're both in. Oh, that one's going in really easy. All right. And then this one. Yeah, those actually went in fairly easily. That's a new one. Then there's another $12 for the lanyard and the 2 keyboards. Watch me screw up and have to take the whole thing apart. That's one. And this would be 2. Yeah, that one's not gonna sit, so I'm just gonna prop it there for now. And there's $4 left, which is a good sign. And L goes over here, flopping in the breeze just for now. Alright. Oh, this is threading easy. Alright, that's nice and tight. I didn't even check when I started. That's alright. As long as it takes less than 2 hours. Ooh, this one's going in super easy. This was the screw that we left hanging. Not this time. Went in smooth as butter. And that guy. So far, so good. All right. I think the monitor's next. So I say I'm just using this as a reference. Okay, we're that far along. Yep, it's exactly it. Monitor's next. And the C screws. You don't want too many. Just grab some at a time. All right, we're gonna set this aside for now. All right, put this on top of that. Don't know if you can see that or not. No, you can't, but we'll kind of fix that a little bit. We got very limited space. All right, I need a fourth. Just doing 4 for now, just to anchor it in. Yeah, these are a pain in the butt. I think I might need a smaller Phillips head for this one. So far, no need for the flathead to adjust a cam. Oh yeah, that's definitely the one. It's definitely the one to go with. This is going to be fun. All right, good enough for now. That one seems to have an alignment issue. All right. Got 4 more. Finish off the ones that we've put in. They stress do not over tighten, because yeah, these things will snap in half. I've done that with put together furniture before. All right. Show you what the nuts are. No, I can't. Screwdrivers are a bit old and a little less than ideal. All right, I'll put the monitor right here for now. Put this over here. This is going a lot faster, ain't it? Let's just see if anybody said anything. Yeah, Costco has an exclusive 601 with Asteroid Deluxe. I've never heard of that one, -1. Steve, time to get up. Does it matter? Some people are getting Galaga for, and this thing's deciding to. $150 at Walmart. Yeah, the Black Friday thing. But is it worth risking your life over? All right, now we go back to the cabinet. Just grab 2 of these screws to align it. Again, not putting it in the best of spots. Cable side face down, of course. Is it in? Yes, it is. I don't know why I bothered. This was screwed in, so it's not gonna go away on us. Hopefully I'm not gonna hit the back and cause some black spots like I did on the 12-in-1. Alright, that guy's in. Now I'll grab the other two. Tighten those guys in. This screw's being a little tough, but it's going. Okay. There we go. 4 dowels into the Galaga thing. And there it goes. Now I remember from last time, the D screws go in there. Alright, that's holding in. Gonna need a bigger screwdriver for that one. Shouldn't put that in all the way just in case something's not lined up with this guy. A bit difficult, but it's going. There it is. There's that one. And this guy slides in. There we go. Yeah, it's going way faster this time. I think here I was still I gave up on that screw on Lanyard Board L and then just struggled getting the K boards finished. Alright, next step I believe is putting the other side on and lining stuff up. As I said, I'm just going to use the instructions as reference at this point. Then marquee goes in, H-board goes in, and that's exactly right. That's there. Hey, why are you not popping in? Guess this is not down far enough, that's why. Those are in. That side's down. That side's in. That side's in. More of our friends, the B screws. Should be using the big one for the B screws. The heads are bigger. And of course, to ensure everything is more or less aligned, opposite corners. Might be jinxing it, but this is going way easier. There were some screws that were a little tough, but none that were giving me trouble. Ooh, that one went in like... I would say smooth as butter, but butter has resistance. Of course, I could see some of you people saying, why don't you test out the electronics prior to putting it all together? I've seen people do that, and then it ultimately stops working when it's put together. So either way, all right. All those are in. So now I believe they want you to stand it up and then put the other screws into the monitor. But, yeah, let's try it. we go. I like these last 4. Yeah, that's right. Okay, these are going to be hard. And I think I'll do what I did before, is get the big light. Yeah, I get the big light that I can't find, which I had laying around somewhere. Alright, I'm not going to waste time. I misplaced the big light somewhere. So, I'm hoping this old task light I was given many moons ago will be okay. Not really. But before we'll unplug this guy for a moment. It's got 52% charge. It should be fine. Yeah, you can lower down now. Yeah. Alright, got that started. Just gonna start them right now so that they don't fall out. Okay, that's in. Yeah, these are lining up much better, even these. Of course, getting them into the hole is still a story in its own. Okay, that one's in. And that one's in. And since I'm got them all in, I'll just start by tightening this one. Then this one. Almost sounds like the Twitter bell, even though I don't have Twitter on the phone. So I honestly do not know what app did that. Alright, there we go. Old task light. Dragon Gamer, hello, picking a REoL arcade machine. Wonder if the deal bill. Well, you know, as I remember that the original arcades, even today, you must have got something that's going to need work, or someone's desperate to get rid of it. Even today, they go for like $1,500. even up to $3,000, and brand new they were $3,000. This is 300. When you buy one of these, you should expect a little bit of sacrifice in some of the quality. It's a given. All right, we got that. Can back this off, and you can hear my annoyingly loud neighbor thinking everybody wants to. Yeah, we can keep this down. All right. The one, oh, that's a big mark I didn't see. That I might have caused that one. Yeah, I was right about that. The logo's in the J board. This board's fun. It gets hung up quite often. That's why a lot of people put the control decks on and there's like a 1/2-inch gap on the front. It's very tight. And did it go all the way down? Oh, we'll find out when the J board goes in. No. This is common. Okay, why are we not going down? Yeah, this should go all the way in. There we go. There we go. Cabinet's a little narrow. I had to pull it apart a little bit to get that all the way down. There, now that's nice and flush. Moment of truth. Looks like there's nothing behind this one. And if there is, it's so minor, just let it live for the time being. Take the little silly A sticker off. Now, what I've heard with the Atari 12-in-1 cabinets, the volume goes as follows. Off, decent, and semi-loud. And I've heard, this is where I get it from this, I've heard with the other cabinets like this one, it's off, Metallica concert, and standing next to a space shuttle during blast off. In other words, it's ridiculously loud. And this connects like so. Simple cable should go in. There it is. Didn't want to really see. Rest of the bees. Yeah, that pretty much covers up their faux pas with the print. Now the question is, will this screw in? Yes, it will. Yeah, this is really hard to get a good grip of. Yeah, they say if you can get a good grip on it, should be alright. Might come loose. Yeah, this one went way better. Oh yeah, opposite corners. Always opposite corners. That way it pulls the others in unless something's really wrong. Well, it took me, about 45 minutes this time? Mostly because I'm stopping to see what you guys are saying. Because I do like to try and keep abreast with you guys as you're talking. All right. We're that far in. We can pick it up at this point. Bad. Better. I don't want to make too much noise for my downstairs people. I'm just creating more dust. Okay, so there is some very minor specks inside. Very minor. It's really hard to keep the dust out of the screen because I don't know how many, spent like 20 minutes trying to keep the Atari one clean when I was trying to figure out why there was a black spot. Got the last screws for the cover, but before we do that, gotta thread this guy in. Under here, the power supply. Boy, that one didn't want to go. I got the power brick over here, which who cares at the moment. Oh, this one's all knotted up. Push this guy in till it. There. Push that guy in. I don't know if you can see it till it seats securely. This cabinet's a little narrower than expected because this is not wanting to go in the slot. There it is. Yeah, this is a bit tight. All right, last two screws. Will they go in? That one did. And finally, and one thing I forgot to do, although it's not a big deal because everything went together easy on this one, is like the Atari cabinet, put the instruction manual and that thing inside the machine, just so I have them. I don't know, maybe sometime in the future I won't have room for these, or maybe for a time I won't have an interest, so I could take them apart, stack it all together, wrap them up, and maybe someday take them apart. I'm not wanting that, but I think of everything. And here we have it. The Galaga cabinet. In 40% of the time it took me to put the Atari one together. Doesn't that say something? Alrighty, so one of the other things I wanted to do was give her a whirl. I haven't played Galaga in a while. This one does not. Wow, that power supply fought me to go in there. Make sure that's off. Plug it in. Alright. So now plug you guys back in. Let's play some Galaga while we're at it. And the original, the very first color arcade game, which was Galaxian. Let's see if I can get you a little closer and a little. All right, let's low volume. Let's see if anything happens. Yeah, that's not that loud. In fact, let's see if I can rotate this in a little bit. I know it ain't the best. Feels weird, especially if you click one direction once too many and then it just feels backwards. Alright, let's see what happens with the lights off. It actually looks a little better. Of course I'll have it dead on, but because it's a vertical screen I would have to record it vertically and then stretch the video out on my video editor so that the top and bottom will fill the screen. The vertical aspect of it. All right, let's do the marquee title. Needless to say, it's moving fire. Now, one thing I definitely can tell you is these screens are not intended to be vertical. LCD screens are built so that the sweet spot is very wide angle in its native 4:3 resolution. And vertical not so much. So when you reorient it, you get that kind of washed out look, unless I'm sitting like if my center of my body is right there. Yeah, you can see the sweet spot a little bit. Alrighty, I'm hitting the thing, but notice they did do with these ROMs is that yeah, that's not terribly loud. They strip out any of the startup testing if they exist. But do you really need that, especially if you're going through? But these are the actual arcade ROMs, the actual images, and are authenticated by the companies who own the copyright. So you are playing the legitimate game. Alright. Yeah, a little loud. Not that bad. I heard if you actually aim, you can do better. That was close. Yeah. Butt rust. How did neither of those get me? And game over. Hit miss ratio 48.5. Let's try Galaxian. I'm so used to up and down, even though I don't have a joystick Arcade1up. Used to that with the spinner and the trackball. Alright, as I've mentioned, unless you have come in late, this is the very first full, well, I shouldn't say full, but first color arcade game that ever existed. They had black and white and they had grayscale. Then this game came out. Let's go back. let's play another Galaga. Not bad. Now I'm just looking to see if I can see the scaling. Yeah, not much. I had nowhere to go on that one. Nowhere to go on that one. Well, considering how bad things started, oh, that was stupid. Oh, I'm looking for the, where I enter my initials, it's up on top, and I'm looking at the scores at the bottom. Now, the question is, do they save? So I'll just play one more Galaxian. Because we can. at this. Alright. No, Breakout was a black and white with color overlays. I'm going to practice Galaga. This is no shoot trick. Yeah, the arcade game actually had that trick. I've seen a YouTube video on it. Best time to do it stage 1, of course. Yeah, Galaxian is definitely harder. The heck, let's just do it one more time. I do notice, though, if you ever so slightly turn the joystick in a non-left-right direction, your guy doesn't move. I had nowhere to go on that one. Oh, come on. Finally. Alright, so now I want to see something. I want to see what happens when we kill power. It's far harder. About getting Galaga, but I got Pac-Man, opened it, and the trim is black instead of red. Odd. What a battle, folks. Yeah, I was never good at most arcade games. I'm gonna get another one. If one might just get Galaga. Galaxian obviously set to higher difficulty than the old default Namco. Well, now I want to see if they save. I know I've heard certain games on the 12-in-1, they always save, but I found that only one of the 12 actually do. I just want to see if these save. And you know what, I might just play another round of each. Just because we can. This time we'll go in reverse. The original first, and then Galaga. You know what, actually, that's kind of a poor test. I need to shut it off, and then disconnect power. A true arcade machine that saves scores would be able to hold on to that data when there's no power. I know, for example, Star Wars from Atari will hold the top 3. That, track and field, and pole position to an extent were the ones I was pretty good at. Star Wars especially. The longest Star Wars play I ever had was at the Galleria Mall in Worcester. I put in 1 credit, and 2.5 hours later, when my parents were ready to leave the mall, I was still on that same credit. Alright, now let's see if they held. If they didn't, it's not a big deal. I got the whiteboard, which will need to be rewritten because there's no room for these 2 games. Hey, go. Hey, it's still there. Unplugged and everything. One more. One more time. Well, that's one way to get rid of it. Not the way I wanted to. Alright, 40-90. And one more of Galaga. speaker tends to pop a bit on those bass notes. Alrighty, yeah, I got stuff I gotta get done. I gotta put all the furniture back in its correct places here. The only thing I won't have time for is to put the cabinet in its intended spot, so I'm just gonna place it somewhere for now. Worry about it tomorrow. Alright, let's see. Because they probably just went with the default MAME ROM set, which has that difficulty. Or 2-3 shit. Electric Loves. Thank you for your... There's anything wrong with this version, but it's just a hard Galaxian setting. Hey, you know what? The thing is that forces me to be better. It's like the tougher bowling houses I go to. It might prove that I suck, but it also proves that there's room for improvement. Anyway, that's the Arcade1up Galaga. I was going to call Galaxian, but yeah, it's part of it. Galaxian. I was never really a big Pac-Man fan. So that's the Arcade1up video. George F551 saying, hope you enjoyed, have a good one, and thank goodness this went way faster. 45 minutes with stopping to talk to you guys as well, versus the 2 hours of that nightmare of the Atari cabinet. Have a good one.